Great. I think that was a really fascinating session about the financial economy. And I think from there we move on to the real economy. And I think it's a very, very exciting moment to be here talking about India's agriculture and allied exports. As part of the Viksit Bharat at 2047 vision, the Honorable Prime Minister has said that we really seek to make India the food basket for the world. And we've set an ambitious target of about $100 billion in agri and allied sector exports. And I'm very pleased to say that in the last year, we are comfortably past the halfway mark, crossing over $50 billion of exports, growing at over 7%. But it's a very geopolitically interesting moment as well. We found ourselves with the agri sector at the heart of a set of trade negotiations. And I think that tends to happen with various kind of trading partners around the world. And so the salience and the importance of the sector, comes to light as well. So I think with that, the conversation today, we have three very interesting perspectives. We have the facilitator and enabler of agri exports in APEDA, Mr. Naidu. We have the funder of this vision, I would say, DMD Rawat ji of NABARD. And we have the executor of this vision, which is Mr. Sachin Sharma of ITC. And we will have a bit of a conversation to say, what will it take for us to really get to 100 billion in exports and surpass it, and what are some of the foundational, elements that we need to put in place. So maybe, Naidu Garu, I will start with you. If you could help us understand a little bit about what is, India's vision for agriculture and allied sector exports, and, what is the role that APEDA plays to facilitate this?
Yeah, good afternoon everyone. Myself, P Naidu. I represent APEDA. APEDA, Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority, under Ministry of Commerce, Government of India, to promote agriculture products and processed foods. Okay. And APEDA, majorly, APEDA scheduled products. Suppose if you see how many products are there, around 700 agriculture products are covered under APEDA. Our agricultural product exports, APEDA scheduled product exports, if you see, around 2,45,000 crores. Even entire our agriculture products, if you see, even spices, turmeric, even coffee, coffee, tea, even tobacco, the entire agricultural sector comes under around 4,50,000 crores. Half of the part will be covered by APEDA only. In that, majorly our exports are what are the major exports are going from India, majorly from, that is a non-basmati rice, which is taking place around 55,000 crores. And the second one is basmati rice, around 50,000 crores. After that, even animal sector, it is also covered under APEDA scheduled products only. That is around 35,000 crores. The remaining products, this is all our value addition, fresh fruits and vegetables, even millets, cashew, even recently cashew also added in APEDA scheduled products only. Okay, and herbal and medicinal plants. There are so many products, even cocoa products also, even there are DP chocolates, even Cadbury chocolate, that also will come under APEDA only. Even value addition, this biscuits and confectionery from Hyderabad, majorly it is going around the Duke's brand name, that is also covered under APEDA only. These are the major product exports from India. Around our APEDA scheduled products is 2,45,000 crores, and major products are non-basmati, basmati and buffalo meat, and we have miscellaneous preparations, herbal and medicinal plants. Even additionally, even value addition products are also there. Even a gherkins are there, cucumber you will call. That also it is exporting. Even from Hyderabad, there is a moringa powder, drumstick powder. It is also exporting. There are new products are exporting in the agriculture products, most of them.
Thank you so much. So I think, like you said, it's a very wide commodity basket. We have, significant produce of, meat, of non-basmati rice, newer commodities like moringa really picking up from the south. And I think while it doesn't fall under APEDA, I think the seafood industry, which very much is, I think, from this particular region, also very large. I'll maybe with that, move actually to Rawat ji. A lot of the commodities that we've laid out are grown by very small, marginal, producers. And I think one of the, anchors in that journey has been NABARD. So would really love to understand a little bit more about, what NABARD has been doing to actually facilitate India's agri-export growth story.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, you just now, all of you heard our chairman, that as a DFI, what's our role? So I would say as a DFI and as NABARD, what we are actually looking at is that how do you develop the entire ecosystem and how to be a part of the enabler in the entire journey. And if we talk about being a part of the entire ecosystem developer or is enabler, so we are having a multiple role in that actually. One is we are working with a lot of ministries at the Government of India level and also at the state government level. One thing that you heard our chairman also speak about is that entire Ministry of Agriculture, that they are developing the entire Agri stack, the digital agriculture mission that they are working on. So we are facilitating that. Similarly, on the fisheries sector, livestock sector, so we are working with the ministries very closely. Another piece that we are trying to develop is that entire cooperative stack, where we are developing not only digitizing the entire base level structure, the primary agriculture credit societies, but also promoting new cooperative societies which will have a broader outreach at the ground level. And through this structure, through this cooperative structure, we want to deliver not only the credit, but also other non-credit services to the masses, to the farmers. So while we develop this entire structure, either digitally or physically in terms of creating new ground level institutions or helping that digital infrastructure, which may have a similar impact of what the JAM Trinity had on UPI and the payment system. So once this structure is developed in terms of physical and digital through the Agri stack, for example, all of you know, government is trying to capture the data related to farmer and farming. So if that is captured, and through the cooperative structure, we are capturing data of almost 14 crore farmers. So it's a big number. And on top of that, all the technological innovations can happen. Technological solution can come on top of these two layers. And this is what will lead to a lot of capabilities, whether you are talking about this production enhancement, whether you are talking about this traceability, whether you are talking about market access. So on top of this, all the technological solutions can come. And that is where the fintech or the agri-tech companies can participate. So that is one major area. And the second part that we are working on is, or in fact we have been doing for quite some time, is financing the direct infrastructure. So be it roads, be it irrigation, be it the entire cold storage structure, the post-harvest management or the fisheries infrastructure. So we have been financing this a lot, which also facilitates this entire productivity enhancement, the quality of products that we are looking at. And if you know, post-COVID, lot of consciousness about the quality of food. So it's not only for the export. Even in our country now, there is a niche market which is willing to pay a premium if they are assured of a quality. So these are all the enabling things that we are trying to develop. And this is what will facilitate 4 or 5 areas which are barriers to the export or to overall better income generation for the farmers. That is the enhancement of the productivity, traceability, creating the entire infrastructure which will facilitate these aspects, and also the market access. And another aspect is the diversification, because diversifying some of the commodities, because we have seen in some of the geographies, good infrastructure is there. For example, some of the states where we have almost 80-90% of irrigation facilities, but diversification has not happened there. But in some of the states with a very limited irrigation facility of 20-25%, a huge diversification happened. One example is Maharashtra. With very limited irrigation facility, they are able to diversify their entire crop system, and the fruits and vegetables maximum is coming from, as an export, is coming from Maharashtra. So we are, all these enabling factors will also help in diversifying different commodities, which will be of importance for export and also for our own country. So this is what we are doing, and we are trying to develop more and more in future.
Thank you so much. I think really fascinating. I mean, all the way from beads to bazaar, as they say, is the role that NABARD is playing, everything from diversification, productivity gains to infrastructure and market access. And that's, I think, a very good segue maybe for me to bring in, our third panelist, Sachin. Sachin, you represent, I think, ITC, which is, I think, India's largest agri, business company. And I think, more than just the corporate values, I think the social values of the institution and the role that you have played have been really significant. One thing that always strikes me is you go to the supermarket and, I think any of you could, and you look at blueberries, right? And they'll have this brand that says product of Chile. Similarly, you pick up, a banana somewhere in Europe and it will have the same, parent company, which is often Dole or Chiquita. And I think these brands are really synonymous with the geographies that they represent or the companies that they come from. A lot of them are on the back of very vibrant cooperative producer networks. I was just curious, as India, how do we take our export story to that level, both in terms of, quality, consistency, visual identity? What is the role that businesses like ITC can play, and how will you maybe cooperate and collaborate with players like, NABARD and others?
Thank you, Aparna, and first of all, my sincere thanks to organizers, especially NABARD, for inviting us and share our views. So certainly, with ITC experience or even experiences of other global big exporters, in export market, if you have to really make your consistent presence, there are few key aspects which are very critical. So first of all is the consistency of supply, be it your customer, a organized retailer, or it's a bulk manufacturer. So if your customer is dependent on you, you have to be a reliable partner of supplies. Second is the consistency in pricing. So you have to also be there providing the best pricing which is there, because your price offering becomes cost for someone else, and therefore that dependence is very important. And when there are multiple origins, then you have to be competitive in this area. Another is very, very important, which we sometimes miss out, is the quality part. So our customers value the quality which we provide, apart from consistency and price competitiveness, and that's where they are able to differentiate, what we offer. Now, to do this, there is a lot of work which needs to be done on the value chains you work. Like, for example, today we are in almost every crop value chain. We are exporting, be it, say, rice, be it, say, fruits and vegetables, processed aquaculture, spices, so on and so forth. So everywhere, our philosophy is that we work directly in the complete value chain, right from farm, and the entire supply chain component. So the custody of supply chain is very important. And today era, you cannot buy what has been produced and then supply. So you have to have the approach of produce the buy. So we create growing programs with our partner, say, FPOs and farmers, train them, and then specifically help them grow the quality, the varieties, what customer requires in the destination country. So for spices, it is a site, for example, a food safe program, or for medicinal aromatic plant, it is a specific active ingredient based, say, production for ashwagandha, or for a specific curcumin type for, say, turmeric. So likewise, these growing programs help. And today the traceability is very, very important. So the entire digital layer of ITC Mars, which not only advises the farmer the right way of farming, but also provides a crop monitoring traceability. So these are certain things, and you do it at scale in multiple crops, season by season. That's where the consistency and dependency of a customer gets on you, and then you start becoming a reliable partner to it. And rightfully said that it's an ecosystem approach. So today, APEDA helps in building India as a brand in the global countries. Institutions like NABARD are strengthening the grassroots organizations, like farmer producer organizations, or augmenting finances. So definitely we leverage this ecosystem in an effective way, and this partnership has seen working very well. India exports have really gone up across the value chains over the years, and I strongly believe, like what you also mentioned, how can we move from $50 to $100 billion is where the huge potential lies. But a lot of work needs to be done at a ground level, farm level, apart from servicing customer or connecting customer.
Yeah, and I'm going to come back to you with a follow-up in a minute on that. But I think the last thing that you said, which is a lot of work needs to be done on the ground level, and maybe that's where I'll come back to you, Rawatji. Could you tell us a little bit more about, how we're approaching the FPOs and the cooperatives and helping them move from being aggregators to value adders, in this ecosystem so they can start to maybe, go further down the value chain and partner with players like an ITC or even directly access markets through APEDA and the facilities they offer?
So I think what we are doing is, one, I said that apart from FPOs, cooperatives is another area that we are looking at, and promoting more and more cooperatives, that is one area, so that the outreach is larger. So that is one area. Second is the collaboration. So ITC also talked about collaboration. We are working with entities like APEDA, where they are also helping us that what is it that is required from the importing countries in terms of quality, in terms of value, in terms of branding. So they are also helping us, and we are, connecting our FPOs and the cooperative societies to APEDA. In many states, that the collaboration is happening. So that is another area. And it's all about actually at the ground level, at the FPOs or the cooperative levels, it's all about the capacities of those farmers to first understand what is it all requires in terms of quality, in terms of traceability, to meet the export requirements or the importing countries' requirements. So that is one very crucial thing. There we are playing a big role. As I said, collaboration is one, but at the same time, we have developed certain infra of our own in terms of agri-export facilitation center. We have developed 2 facilitation centers in the country, and they are working on entire capacity building, their market linkage, how to improve their overall production so that it meets the quality requirements. So this is one area where we are working very closely, and these 2 facilitation centers that we have set up, it has shown some good results, and that is where some of the FPOs are able to even export directly also. So wherever these facilitation centers are not there, we are collaborating with other entities to take it forward. Then there is one major area that we are working on is the GI registration for some of the products, whether it is agri or non-agri product. So we are facilitating that. So not only registration, we are not just focusing on registration of that, which will give them some identity in terms of value or branding or some local USPs of that product, but also we are trying to facilitate how these more and more authorized users of that GI product can be increased. So that is the work that we are doing. So registration plus all the post-registration work that is required to build that value and build that brand for that commodity, whether it is agriculture or non-agriculture. In fact, today we would be, as an organization, we would be the highest entity which has facilitated maximum number of GI products, and equal number are in the pipeline which will generate. So we'll get the registration soon. But more important that the registration is that after the registration, or what all activities are required, so that the real benefit of that registration or that GI tag reaches to the FPOs and the cooperative sector. So these are some of the areas, and then other than that, there are other areas that we are working with the ministries, different ministries, as I said earlier also, that how do we promote some of the clusters or area-based schemes or area-based approach so that the scale of economy concept kicks in, so that everything that is required to meet that requirement of export in terms of infrastructure, in terms of credit, in terms of all other value-added services that is required, so that can be met on a cluster basis. Otherwise, if you try to identify a few farmers here, a few farmers there, we may not be able to create that forward and backward linkages in a cluster, isolated way. But if you approach a cluster, have a cluster approach, that becomes much more easier to do. So these are some of the areas that we are working on to help the farmer FPOs and also the cooperatives, so that they add value and branding to what they are producing. And some of the commodities which have actually some niche USPs, location-specific products, for example, Northeast, Ladakh, JNK, they have certain special commodities in agri sector. So how do we promote them also? So we have a good network at the ground level through our district development managers. So they are also helping identifying such clusters, such specific commodities, which can be promoted and branded through this FPOs network that we have across the country.
Thank you so much. I think that's quite a lot, and I think what always strikes me when I listen to you talk about what NABARD is doing is that it is very capacity intensive in terms of the effort that it takes at the last mile to aggregate, to enable, to upskill. And I think we are, of course, at the Rural Tech Fest and Tech Summit, and so I think would really love to kind of shift this conversation a little bit into how we can now use technology quite differently to be able to actually scale up some of these efforts even further. And maybe, Naidu Garu, I'll come to you because, APEDA, I've been really impressed. I saw APEDA's GrapeNet traceability system, and I think it is really the rails on which our grape exports have, I don't know, grown 5 or 8x as far as I understand in the last few years. But I'm given to understand that for exports, we have traceability systems around peanuts and several other commodities. I'm quite curious, which is, how does this digital layer come together? What is the kind of physical connectivity that it needs to be able to actually build this? And how is APEDA thinking about integrating this also with the Agri stack and some of those other initiatives?
Traceability, just I will explain you. Actually, this traceability system we started with the grapes very long back. After the very successful and the grape farmers, they got very good remunerative prices. Then we have come to other products. Even maybe you have read long back in the papers also, the grape farmers from Nasik and all, they go by bench cars and all. Why? Because APEDA has implemented this GrapeNet system and they got a very good premium rate by exporting their grapes to European countries and all. After that, all horticulture produce also we brought in under HortiNet. Suppose if any exporter, they want to export this horticulture produce to Europe, USA, Australia, New Zealand, this HortiNet, they have to compulsory register through Department of Horticulture. Then only they will be able to export these horticulture produce to the advanced countries. Even Middle East and all, this traceability system, it is not there. Major advanced countries, USA, Europe, New Zealand, Australia, these are the major countries. Okay, under the HortiNet system, even mangoes, pomegranate, banana, all 8 products are there. Even GrapeNet for the grape separate it is there. And also for organic products also, APEDA has implemented a TraceNet system. Suppose anyone want to export organic products, they have to register through APEDA accredited agencies for organic products. Then only they will be able to get this organic certification. APEDA is the secretariat for this organic certification under the Ministry of Commerce. Okay, and also peanut products, if anyone they want to export, their peanut unit should be registered under APEDA. Okay, and even these are the traceability systems, even farm to fork, even soil to shipping. And in this traceability system, even suppose during at the time of shipment, even still that other country phytosanitary inspectors are also coming and sitting in that during the season for issue of phytosanitary certificate. Even suppose if you want to export mangoes, that entire 3 months period, that phyto inspectors from USA will come and sit from where from which farm they have harvested and which packers they have packed and where is the irradiation centers. Even mostly these irradiation centers are Karnataka, Gujarat and Maharashtra we have. Even in Andhra and Telangana we don't have any irradiation center. We have a VHT, vapor heat treatment systems and hot water systems. And also some of the exporters, they are trying to establish these irradiation systems also.
And can I ask you, is this entire network of, let's say, pack houses, cold chains, other infrastructure, is it all digitally connected on a grid, or is that part of the vision going forward?
No, it is all digitally connected. Suppose if you visit our website, even how many farmers they registered under the HortiNet, under the GrapeNet, under the P Naidu, all the details will be available. It is under digital.
So from a discovery point of view as well, that's very useful to be able to understand, where these clusters are and where the production is happening. And maybe Sachin, then I'll come to you, which is, as the private sector, I think, we hear a lot about this digital public infrastructure that's being created. How are you leveraging it, if at all? And, where are you really seeing innovation happen on top of some of this? And what is the opportunity there for more technology to kind of get our exports up without raising, huge compliance kind of costs?
Yeah, sure. So before that, I think let me reiterate the importance of the digital ecosystem, because be it exports or even domestic value chains, the digital capabilities are becoming and more important every day. So even today, if I talk about ITC started this digital journey 20 years plus back, When we started eChopal, which was the first global agri-tech example in those times, using computer kiosk in the villages and then using digital capabilities and then superimposed our entire ERP system. Over the years, we built, and right now the newest version of eChopal is ITC Mars, which gives us a lot of digital capabilities coupled with FPOs on the ground as physical ecosystem. So we call it like a physical system. So we are able to give customized advisories to the farmer. So when we talk about digital ecosystem, it is not only tracking, it is also advising farmers to grow the crops right, track how they are being grown, and supported by your physical connect through your, say, extension staff, hand-holding on the ground, and you are able to track it, from farm up to your warehouses, from warehouses up to your ports or up to your factories, and eventually at the last mile. So this usually organizations have been investing in their own capabilities. Many things are being duplicated, but as the digital public infrastructure comes, where a lot of this data which is available publicly can also be connected to even provide much more say comprehensive say efficiencies in the system. I'll give you one or two examples. For example, today you have digital soil health cards. On the other side, we also provide say crop advisory, which is very customized, which is based on soil testing, as well as our say module called say for example fertilizer calculator or leaf color charts. So going forward, the data of the soil health can come from the public infra. Then this customization of advisory can be built on top of that, and then farmer can directly get benefited. Similarly, there are other use cases in terms of which farmer is buying what kind of inputs. So therefore, how his farming will be. And then can you actually forecast that which farms would be naturally low in pesticide uses and therefore will be more compliant for a European customer. So this, connect with digital public infra can create a lot of new generation use cases. You can use generative AI to predict and forecast the suitability, and then even both from a farming perspective and also from exports perspective. So I see a lot of use cases, and this digital public infra in agriculture is a very right step in a right direction, and we are looking forward for this to get rolled out efficiently.
That sounds like some very good ideas for our colleagues here in terms of some of the use cases that we could probably build. But Sachin, I have one question, sorry, as a follow-up, which is, it seems like basis this conversation, a lot of the foundations are set or getting set. I mean, we have, work with producer organizations, we have a lot of the infrastructure, some of the digital layers and the intelligence APEDA is providing. Why are we at a point where we're still not seeing the next ITC and the next ITC, scale beyond 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 crores? I mean, what will that require as the next leap, maybe? And I don't just mean private sector, I even mean some of the, producer cooperatives. Any thoughts on that?
So I think we have many success stories while we are also doing our bit. But you have Mahagrape story, for example, which is about grape exports. Within domestic value chains now, startups are coming up. So I personally feel that ecosystem is going in the right direction. And if we are able to solve, one is for exports, since we are talking more on global value chains, one is there has to be a competitive advantage of the value chain of your country. Like for example, rice has an inherent competitive advantage. Second thing is that today there are also non-tariff barriers, or there are issues like phytosanitary areas, or issues like say traceability, or EUDR coming in Europe, which is expecting a certain traceability. So these are the new generation say norms which are coming up. They also throw an opportunity to us in terms of complying it faster and leveraging the advantage over any competing origin. So I personally feel that the ecosystem is going right, the way the digital adoption is improving, APEDA is taking various steps. For example, the way the organic trace net is getting developed. So it is setting up the Indian standards to the global level, so that there is a confidence that the product is getting assured by Indian standards, it will pass through the global standards. So those are the things, I think things are progressing in right direction, and maybe with we will see a much more fast pace as we progress forward.
Wonderful. I think I think we have time for maybe two more questions. So Naidu Garu, maybe last question for you before I close with DMD Rawat. I think what can we look forward to in terms of the next few innovations that we should expect from, APEDA and the related ecosystem? Anything that you might want to share that even our friends in the audience, there are many startups here working on various commodities, could look forward to?
Yeah, any startups, if they have any plans of exports and all, they can directly approach APEDA. APEDA actually every year we are participating in international exhibitions, around 20 exhibitions. So we are giving a special discounts and special stalls and also to these startups. Even APEDA also started a Bharati hub in our website. We have invited all these startups for applications who are having innovative products, and we are selecting them and giving encouragement in international exhibitions and all also all these startups. Okay.
Wonderful. So I think a lot of opportunity, like you said, to kind of engage with APEDA, collaborate and find the global market opportunity. I think it's been a fascinating conversation, and Rawat sir, maybe I'll come to you to close, which is as you look at the future and you look at kind of NABARD's vision and ambition, you've laid out what we're already doing. You did talk about our role in kind of creating and building the digital ecosystem. There are, like I said, many startups here. Any kind of advice for them? They're always looking for partnership with NABARD in many of our projects. So is there any advice that you have for people in the room?
No, I think I'll repeat what our chairman mentioned, that rural area has a huge opportunity, and the type of digital infrastructure that is being created in the agri, through the agri stack, through the livestock stack, and through fisheries stack. A lot of solutions right from the pre-sowing to marketing can be created out of this digital infrastructure that is being created. A huge opportunity. Earlier, rural was not seen as a very lucrative thing, but now looking at the opportunities in the rural area, the type of shift that is happening in terms of the customers' need or the consumers' need in terms of quality and variety, I think huge opportunity to work on, and already a digital platform is being created. So opportunities are there, and like the chairman also mentioned, that we are also having setting up a co-lab which will provide opportunities for the fintech or the agri-tech companies to work on. And at the same time, the Sarkar Sarithi platform that is there. So in terms of, because credit is also one very important aspect when we talk about all these initiatives and developments. So one is on the credit front, and the second is on the entire agri value chain, each and every node of the agri value chain. So huge opportunities there. So if you can provide the solutions which is scalable, then I think a lot of opportunities for everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to this fantastic panel. At least my vision from this conversation is I'm hoping that we will see, maybe 50 new clusters coming up soon, supported by, NABARD, facilitated maybe by APEDA, and maybe, marketed in partnership with ITC. So I think thank you very much to this panel, and look forward to continuing the conversation subsequently.